listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to UppTalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say UppTalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it.
Let's start with the custom report now. To create a custom report, you are having one task, create custom report. You can use that task and that will ask you to populate some report name. Here let's say DNU batch. Let's say first report. First of all, let us understand the options, what we have here. First of all, we have options here like report name. There you need to do. You need to provide some meaningful report name. If you join any company, let's say they are following any naming convention, for example, RPT, INT or something like that, or CR. If they are following any naming convention, you have to follow that naming convention. But whatever name you keep, the purpose of that report should be understandable by that name. Just try to give some meaningful name here when you are creating any custom report. Now, when you go to the report, there will be 8 kind of reports you will be able to see. The first report is simple report. Simple reports are a very, straightforward report where you can pull data from only one primary business object. If I need to show you, simple report, it would be pretty much simple. Let me click on this one first. Let's say simple. The client will be provide this data for report creation. See, if someone asked you to create a report, definitely he will say like what exactly is asking, what exactly he need, right? Basically, what you will get if less of benefits team or absence team is coming to you and they are saying like we need one custom report. They will set the expectation right. Like these are the information we need. Maybe they won't give you the exact fill name. That is something you will use to when you will actually start Workday system. And most of the things will be very clear. Let's say if someone is asking you to create a report to generate, the first name, last name, phone number, email address of employees, right? All those things are straightforward. Here in Worker Business Object, if you type name, you will get many options. First name, last name, legal first name, legal last name, full name. Based on requirement, you can select any way. If they want, first name, last name in a separate column, you can use 2 fields and you can use first name in a different column and second, last name in a different column. Similarly, let's say if they are asking for a phone number or work email, then those are the things. When you will type here in the field email, then it will give you a lot of option, right? From there, you will be able to understand. See that what happens generally when you create a custom report, simple fields. Let's say if someone is asking you to, extract employee details, it would be very easy because the the words, the terminology which they will say, you can just type. You will be able to find the results. Now let's say you joined the company and directly you started working in the time. Absence part, and in absence they are. They are asking you to create reports. There. First of all, you need to get familiarized with the fields. Whatever is used in the absence space. What are the transactions happen? How exactly their configurations are done? All those things you need to understand, but mostly, yes, whenever someone will come to you for creating a report or integration, definitely he or she will give you the exact field name, whatever they want in the file. And one more thing you can do. Let's say you're joined the company and you started working in the project, and then you got some requirement. Like they want to extract some of the details from Workday, and they ask you to create a report or integration. Now, when you check that field, you understand they have asked you to extract 20 fields. When you check those fields, then what you saw is 17 fields you are across and you are feeling comfortable. Like, I'll type this thing and then I'll get this field. You're feeling comfortable. Now let's say there are 3 fields, which is not understandable. You're trying to understand where exactly this field is. What exactly they are saying and all, and they're asking you to extract. Basically, in those cases, what you can do is you can simply, just schedule a call with them, discuss with them, ask them where exactly you see that detail in the Workday. Whenever they show you where exactly those details are stored, it will help you to extract those fields. If those are not direct, fields, not Workday delivered fields, then you can create some calculated fields that we will learn in upcoming sessions. Mostly you won't face that kind of confusing situation. I mean, there will be something which will help you to recognize what exactly they're asking for. Now I am creating a report, simple report in simple report. I have given the report name in data source. Workers for SEM reporting. I think we discussed this before. There is a data source filter. This data source filter. I'm just using this data source filter. All active workers and here in the simple reports. See, as of now, what you did is you copied a standard report. When you copied a standard report into a custom report, you were able to see many more options here. There were 7 to 8 options. There's a 7 to 8 tabs, right? In simple report, you will not be able to see all those things. Even you can't enable this report as a web service as well. Here, there is just a few things. You will be able to see columns. Like if you need to extract the first name, last name, you can extract from only one business object in advanced report. What do you show? Like there was one more column here, business object here. You can't see any business object, column, because here in simple report, we can't extract field from multiple business object or related business object. It's pretty much simple. And it's very slow. Let's say you have extracted first name. Added. That is, someone that has additional guidance on the position. Now we've presented with 24/7/24 Bible, and I think that's for 5 October 6. Here now, let's say, there is a Confederate. They ask you to extract a hire date. When you type hire date and press enter, then you are able to see multiple dates. See, first of all, you won't face this kind of issue, like you will see same hire date multiple times. This is something someone has created a calculated fit. When you will click on this related action, you will be able to understand. Say, see, here it is saying it's a calculated fit. Now this is not actual. This is someone has created. Now, if you wanted, set the hire date, whatever what they has delivered, you can click on this one. You can check another field again. Click on this related action and you will get the details. For example, here, if I clicked on this, it will show me this is a Workday delivered fit and what exactly this will give that. That description you will be able to see. See here, field source Workday delivered. What this field is, the worker's most recent hire date. This report field cannot be effective. Detail. The description you can see here. You can see business object. You can see the field source. You can see. I selected this and then I'm not creating new here. In this simple report, you are able to see only 3 tabs. The first tab is column where you can just pull field from the primary business of your primary business object. You can see here, see primary business object. In this simple report, you will only be able to extract field which has been created on this business object, primary business object. Then there is another tab here, sort. In sort tab, if you want, fields to be sorted in certain order, you can use this. This feature you can just add here and you can add the field, and using that field, if you want, in ascending order or descending order, you will be able to using this sort tab. Then there will be one more tab, filter tab. In filter tab, let's say here I have given all active out workers. If I do not apply any filter here, then what will happen is like it will extract all the active employees. Detail. Let's say now in my company there are 2,500 active workers. It will extract all the active workers. Now let's say if I want to extract all the active workers who have been hired in 2024. Now I have to apply one filter. There they were. There are 2,500 workers, but I don't want everyone. I just want people who has been hired in 2024. Then in those cases, you can apply the filter. This is a simple report. You can try. This tenant is very slow. You can try creating one simple report and try applying filter and sorting. This is one kind of report. We can create simple report and we know. See, there is one more thing here. Simple report can be converted into advanced report, but advanced report cannot be converted into simple. In simple report, there will be many differences between simple report and advanced report. First of all, you are able to see less columns. Second difference is you can convert simple report into advanced report, but you cannot convert advanced report into simple report. The third thing is in simple report, you can pull data from only primary business object, whereas in advanced report, you will be able to pull data from related business object as well. These are the major differences between simple report and advanced report. Here again, you have the option to run and taste. I think you have done this multiple times now. This is cool, but your activity will be create one simple report to extract. Let me type here create simple report to extract all the active workers who are hired in 2024 record should be arranged in employee ID ascending order. You can pull details like employee ID, first name, last name. I added date of birth, gender. Just, complete this activity. Try to complete this activity. If you face any issues, we can discuss tomorrow. This is one kind of report. Do you have any question in simple report? No. Now let's move to advanced report. In advanced report, again I'm going to create custom report. Generally, Workday doesn't do this thing in production or in lower tenant sandbox or implementation. If Workday takes this much of time, we generally use to escalate those things to Workday directly. The they have given, they have worked in, is to respond in 3 seconds. 3 seconds of the highest time. You know what they have to respond. Sometimes, Workday is slow as well, but the way this tenant is working, this is really very slow. Maybe many people are working on this tenant simultaneously, but that actually doesn't, you know, just should not slow the tenant, but this is happening anyways. You guys take your time and complete the activity. I understand. When you start working, then you also start pressing the same thing, and that's a irritating one anyways. Now let's say kaidinu a butch do. First advanced report here. Now the second type is advanced tab. We are going to learn, simple and advanced in simple. There's nothing to learn, but in advance there are too many things here. I'm enabling everything then I'll show you what all those things are. You 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 here in advanced custom reports. We know see this, we know these options are same, the report name, the report type is advanced here and there. Good. You could have say the report type was simple, then data source is same. Workers for a CM report reporting data source filter. Active worker. That's fine. You can change this one data source filter as well. If I, remove that and if I click on this, it will offer me the other data source filter. Whatever filters are there in this data source, it will show me everything. See, there is all active workers or employees, all dominated workers, all workers. Then there are many. I just need all active workers. You can choose this based on your requirement. Whatever is the most relevant data source filter, you just apply that. Let's say you need to pull active workers, terminated workers, as well as future hires. They are the same. In Workday. One thing, let me tell you, you know how that works, the conceptual thing, you will be able to understand employees and workers. Basically, there are two types of people who are working in the company. One is worker. Worker contains, sorry. There is, to two kind of, workers. Actually, in workers, there is one employee, and then the second is contingent worker. Contingent worker means contractor. You might be, maybe you understand what contractor means. Basically, you can join a company in a two ways. Either you can be a permanent employee there. They will tell you, as an employee. And then the second thing is like part-time job. You are doing, a part-time job. Or you are doing something like you're part of one company, but you are working for some different company. For example, you're working in TCS and you have one client, some other Airbus and all, and you are working from TCS. Your profile will be created as contractor, not employee, in that Airbus company. Here employee means permanent employees, contingent worker, contractors means worker. Whenever you call worker, worker comprises of employee as well as contingent worker. Both of these type are workers. But when you call employee, then it's not going to fetch your contingent worker. That's why when you will, here, when you just remove this and try to search for multiple filters, he will be able to see all active workers, all active employees. There is a difference between all active workers and all active employees. All active employees contains only permanent, employees of the company. All active workers comprises of everything, all the workers, whether that the worker is contingent worker or up into the employees, everything. Now in worker also worker or contingent worker, there are three things. One is active worker. Active workers means you are part of company, you are already working, you are active in the system. Second is terminated workers. Terminated workers are like, you joined the company and then you left. When you leave, then after some time, your your records will be maintaining that company as a terminated workers. It's like when people leave the company, that status is updated, is terminated. Generate down, and then we will be having future hires. Future hires are like, let's say, I referred one of my colleague and he is trying to join my company. He goes started a vehicle. I hired it as, let's say, 15th of June 15. The gym today is 3rd of June, and that person is going to join on 15th of June. That worker will be considered as future hires. All workers can't. It contains everything. All active and terminated workers contain only these two things. All active workers contains only this thing. This is what you need to understand. These are the things you know. You will learn gradually by yourself, but you know. These are the basic things which I wanted to let like when you work on any report, you will be dealing with multiple data sources and multiple data sources filter. How exactly you're going to decide? This is one way to decide it. You should be able to understand what's the difference between workers and employees. And then we know it varies. Some of the differences varies, based on company as well, but in general, I have explained you now in this advanced report. Here you can see the primary business object. There also you were able to see in simple report this primary business object. Then the difference was in simple report, in this there was column tab. This column tab is same. There was column tab And here in advanced support, we have column tab. But see, there are differences there in simple report. You did not have this, business object column. There you were not able to decide like on from which business object you want to pull the data in advanced report. You will be having one option, air business object. Now let's say that this is a primary business object worker. Every worker will be having some dependents. You know whether the workers, wife workers, daughter workers, son, anything. Every worker will be having a few know some dependents of some of the workers will not be having this anyways. That's fine, good. Basically, here you will be able to set that dependent is a related business object of worker. Here in this advanced report, you will be able to pull data from primary business object as well as related business object. You will be able to get data from primary business object as well as related business object, and that is why we have here, business object column. There you can change right now. If I want to pull worker's first name, I can simply put here the first name, then work in a worker last name. And now again, if I want to pull dependent first name, I can change the business object here in this called a business object column tab. And then, I can, extract, dependent first name, last name. How exactly that is going to work? It's like this. Let me pull first name, first name, first name, best name, first name, active key. Are you experiencing these things as well? Like you're getting something. And then suddenly I'll explain. First, let me know, create the report, otherwise it will be good. You. Now let me edit this report. Now let's see. Basically, I have created one advanced report, and if you can see, there are, many things. Basically here, first of all, there is a difference of this business object. This is the business object where I have used worker. Worker is a primary business object that was auto-populated. Then it's I have, added another business object dependence. This worker and dependence are related. There is a one-to-many relationship between this worker and dependence. I can extract details of dependence as well in this report. This is dependent, which is a related business object. And from this related business object, I am pulling first name of dependent, last name of dependent, and date of work. In advanced report, you will be able to extract details of related business details from related business object as well. This is one of the advantage. Now, if you see here, there are, multiple columns. Here, this is field name. This field name is something which you have, mentioned here, which you have, which you need to extract from Workday. Now, next is column heading override. This column heading override means, let's say here is person name, but what you want to see in the report is employee first name. When you run a report, in the top, the very first row, you will be able to see heading. If you do not update anything in the heading, then you will be able to see these as a name of the headers. Now, let's say if you update here this is a first name, but what you want to see as a header is employee first name. That is something you will be able to do using this column heading override. You can change the name of the heading, the field name which will be showed in the report. First, first row headers. Then you have here column heading override XML alias. This field will be used in web service. Why this field has been populated is, I have enabled this report as a web service. That means this report will be used by other systems as well, maybe integration, maybe some other system. I have been enabled this report as a web service. When you enable a report as a web service, you will be able to see this additional column heading override XML alias. When the web service is not enabled, then you won't see. There's no point of this. We will understand this thing later. What exactly this means is, I'll explain you. I'll show you what exactly this means is. Then you have format. Let's say here you added one of your numeric field or any currency value, currency failure amount, or something like that. It will offer you some kind of formatting. For example, where exactly you want decimal in that number, where exactly you want dot in that number, whether you want to do a rounding kind of things. All those formattings you will be able to see in this format tab. Then here you will be having options. Let's say, here we are using one field, active setters, which is a Boolean field, active setters. This is a Boolean tree. In this Boolean field, if you click on here, you will be able to see some options. The options are no when false. This is a Boolean tree. This will show true or false. But when you will run the report, what you will see is the places where active status is yes, it will show you value, and the places where active status is for, it will show you blank value. The blank means you need to understand that is false. Now let's say if you don't want the things like that you want to see, no when false and yes, yes for true, then you can have that options. For example here, if I run this report, here if you see this is active here. Anyways, I'm pulling all active workers. It will be yes all the time. But let's say this log and Matlin is not active, terminated one. In those cases, what you would have seen is this active status is equal to false, and here in the report. When you will run the report, you won't see anything. You will see this value is blank. Then you need to understand the value is blank. That means you know that worker is terminated. I mean, that is something you will get used when you will actually start working in work and creating reports. That's fine. Here, now I extract it. I just run the report, and here we can see the first name, last name, hired, active status. These four details are we know where from the primary business object, and there are other three fields. This is dependent. Now this dependent is a related business object, and we are extracting first name, last name, data work related business object. Here this is one to many. Relationship, basically one worker is happy. Many dependents, multiple dependents. For example, here login McNeil. Login, McNeil is having three dependents. This one, this one, this one. If I would have added one more column here, relation from dependent, then we would have known, like which one is, wife, which one is son, which one is daughter, which one is husband. You will be able to understand that thing. This is how advanced report looks like. I mean, this is when I have added dependent, which is a multi-instance field. That's why you are able to see gaps here. If you don't add any multi-instance fields or multi-instance business object related business object, then you will see one. Instance of each and everything. And here also see worker. There is one instance of worker only for work, and we don't have multiple, instance of, but in one worker. For one worker, there are multiple, dependents, and that's where for dependent there are three instances for one worker. This is how you need to understand. Are you guys are clear? Or you guys are having, any question? Which is bothering you. Ganesh. These are mostly, you guys are, experienced. I think it's fine. This is just simple terms anyways. In this in this advanced report, these things are fine. Now this option. Here in active status, there is one option you will be able to see. No when false. Valid option show no when false. If you want to populate yes or no, then you can just select this thing, and it will show you no value even when there is a blank. But now another section is group column headings. Why do we have this group column heading? See, there is one worker. One worker is having one row. One row for each worker. There is easily identifiable. But now when I added dependence related business object, then we need to group. Like these are the dependents for one worker. When we run the report, we show like Logan McNeil is having three dependents. To understand, all those three dependents are for Logan McNeil. We have to, just mention this group column heading as well, that we understand. Like these are the fields coming from the dependent business object. These are the fields are coming from the related business object. Also, it could be like, you can add, multiple related business object here. For example, here I have added, worker as a primary business object dependent, that is related business object. I can add another related business object, that is location. To categorize dependent data, location data, we need to define group column headings. And this group column heading XMLLIS is something I'll explain you later when we will actually start working as a, we will start learning RaaS, misreport as a service. That I'll show you. Basically, to categorize the fields from the related business object, we have to define this group column heading. Now in this, we know this column is sorted. Now we have another type sorting. In sorting again, you have, options to sort. But when you will compare this sort tab between simple and advanced report, you will be able to see many more features are. Things are in this, advanced report. Here if you need to apply any filter, sorry, not filter the sorting. Let's say if you want all the records to be populated in employee ID ascending order. What you can do is here you can just mention employee ID. You can just mention employee ID and here you can mention the sorting direction. If you want ascending order or descending order, you can just select and the report. The data will be populated in employee ID. Whatever order you select, then if you want to, display headers, summarization, all these things are, advanced things which we will, learn, after some time, maybe, tomorrow. Here the sorting will be applied like this one. Only you need to add one field. There you can select the sorting direction and you will be able to sort out the data. Now there is a sub-level sort. What is the difference between sorting and sub-level sort? Let's say here in this case, I have used worker as a primary business object and then I have used dependents as a related business object. I have a sorting on primary business object. Now employees will be populated in employee ID ascending order. Now let's say each and every employee is having 3 to 4 dependent and I want those dependent also should be populated in alphabetical order by their first name. If I want another sub-level sort, I want to apply sorting on the primary business object that will be basis on of no employee ID. And then I want to apply sorting on the dependent business object based on the first name in alphabetical order. If I need to do that, I need to add a sub-level sort and in sub-level sort, you need to define related business object name. In this case, we have dependent as a related business object. We are going to, just use dependent and if you want to, apply sorting this on first name. There you just give the name, first name, and then the sorting order self vertical descending. That's fine. Here, I have applied sorting on, employee ID as well as first time. Now let me do one thing. What I'll do here is alert employee ID that you understand how this is getting sorted. Those users are coming because we have a very slow, 10N performance. Now let me run this support click. I'll explain what are all these things now. See here. See the data is coming. Like, first of all, what I did, I sorted. You know that the report output based on the primary business object, employee ID, in ascending order. See here, the first worker is coming is the employees 21001. Second worker is coming at 21002. Then 21004. Maybe 221003 is terminated. That's why it's not coming here. This sorting order. This is working based on sorting order. Now here if you see dependents are sorted based on first name alphabetical order. See here M sorted, then here in a CEJ. This is sorted based on alphabetical order. Now you understood what, and how sorting works. If you need to apply sorting on, primary business object, you can simply add and sort. If you want to apply sorting on related business object, you need to, add one sub-level sort you will be able to do to, sort on related business object as well. Ganesh, sub-level sort is only for the related business object, right? Yes, because if you need to do sorting on primary business object, you can do directly, right? There is no point of, just exploring here. Sub-level means like, it's a related business object, only any other question. Now the next tab is filter. The filter tab is, we know this is something where, let's say, I was mentioning, right? Like you have 2,500 workers, active workers in your company, but what I want in a report is only, workers who has been hired in 2024 in this case. Basically, you need to apply filter. You need to mention like in the hire date should be greater than 2024. What you can do is here you can apply a filter there, mention the field name, hide it operator here. Operator. This is something you can explore. When you click on this operator, you will find many options. You need to just remember, see all those options will explain, themselves what exactly they are doing. But still, you should be in mind, like how exactly you're going to, compare values. For example, let me now populate all the operators hired. It is a date field. Hired, it is a date field for date field. We have this many options. If there is a blank hired, I can select using. I can just choose this is blank and it will filter out whoever employees, who's hired, it is blank. It will filter out everything is not blank. This will explain means hired. It should not blank for any worker. Just pull all the workers who doesn't have hired it as a blank value. Pull all those. Now let's say if you want to compare higher data, like in higher data is equal to 1 2024, then you can use equal to, not equal to. I mean same. If you want like any employees who has not been hired on 1 2024, you can just mention them not equal to, and you will get all the workers who has not been hired on 1 2024, then greater than. Let's say, if you have a date, for example, here I'm saying whoever has been hired in 2024. I just need to know all those values. If I need to if I need to find people who was hired on at that particular date as well, 1/1 2024, then I'll use greater than or equal to. Or if I want the people who has been hired after date, after 1/1 2024 who has been hired, I just want those people. In those cases, you can use greater than, similar to less than. These are the operators for, higher. This is a date field. When you will, apply filter on a numeric will, you will be having some different operators. All those are relevant operators you will be able to understand. And then if you are using single instance, multi-instance, or if you are using text type of field, then you will be having different operators. The second activity you're having is just apply filter on. Single related single instance failed, and takes fail and try to find what are all the operators are. If there is any operator which is something you're not able to understand, just let me know. I'll help you with that here. I have to apply filter like I want all the workers who has been hired after 1 and 2024. When I selected this greater than or equal to operator, then ideally that's what I was ready. There we had there. We can see comparison type. In comparison type, again you will be able to see multiple, options. Let me show you that those options as well. And you will get these options everywhere in Workday. Basically, you should get familiar to this thing as soon as possible. Anyway, this is something where you will not be having many options, and every option will tell by itself like what exactly if you know that option means. Here there are four options. The one option is value as specified in this filter. If I select this in comparison value, you will get one option to enter a date. That means you enter a date and this report will filter all the workers who has been hired after that particular date. You can hard code a value, but that is something you will be able to do using value specified in this filter. There you need to hard code values. The second option you are having is value from another field. Let's say we know value from another field means you have some days. Let's say you have fiscal year date. Fiscal year means let's say your financial year is going from April to March. Now you want all the workers who has been hired in current fiscal year. Current fiscal year means the fiscal year start date will be 1st of April 2024. Instead of hard coding, let's say, every year you want to run this report. Instead of hard coding, what you can do is you can create another calculated field which will tell like what is the first date of current fiscal year. Basically, you are not hard coding. Instead, you are designing a different calculated field. You are designing a different field and you want to compare this higher date with that field. That is where we are going to use value from another field. Then there are two options in the top. That is prompt the user for the value. When you say prompt the user for the value, what this means is whenever you run the report, this report will ask you to enter something into some values. If you select from the user for the value, then when you will run this report, then what you will observe is it is asking you to enter one date and whatever date you will enter when you will running the report, this report will extract all the active workers after that particular date. Instead of hard coding, you are allowing user to enter the date from which they want to see the active workers. That is the prompt of the user for the value. Now, the second option we have here in the prompt part is from the user for the value and ignore the filter condition. If the value is blank, in this case, what happens? This is again, this will also ask you to enter some values. When you will run the report again, you need to enter. But here, in this case, let's say it asks for something. For example, just few minutes back I ran, one report and it was asking me to enter employee type, contingent worker type and all those things. I did not enter anything, but still that report was giving me data. Basically, that is what this prompt is doing. If you define this as a prompt, and if you don't pass any value, it will just ignore this filter criteria at all. It won't filter anything based on this filter criteria. Maybe you will be having many more field at right area. It will be a filter based on that. But this filter will be, scheme, and this is a difference between the prompt the user for the value and from the user for the the second from value in this one, the prompt the user for the value when you will not enter any value. Let's say you are passing a blank value. What it will do is it will compare the blank value with the higher date. Let's say if there is any worker who doesn't have any higher date as a blank value, it won't show you anything. It will give you the blank output. That is the difference between this prompt and this prompt here. If you don't pass anything, it will give you the blank output. You won't get anything in the output here. If you will not pass anything, if you will pass this blank value, it will again give you the data. It will just keep the filtering. filter criteria. It won't filter based on hired. It will say simply give you all the workers who has been, who are active in the system because you're not coming. The data is that it is not being compared. Did you understand the difference between these two values from the user for the value and the second one? Can anyone explain what these options are? The first one from the user for the value is it. It won't filter anything, it just give the blank one. But the second one it enables. It always already did the first filter right. Data source filter. According to that it filters. But for the first one, nothing gives right a blank one. No, a little bit. Different concept is here. See both. Both of these options will allow users to enter values while running the report. Both these options will allow users to enter the value while running the report. The difference is the four. In the first one, if you are not entering anything, it will compare this filter, this hire date, with the blank value. And if there is no blank, no workers with a blank hire date in the system, it won't give you any report output. You will not be able to see any employee when you will run the report. In second case, if you apply the same case here, also if you don't pass anything, basically, if you don't pass anything, this hire date will not be compared with the blank value. Instead, this hire date filter criteria will be skipped. There will not be any importance of this hire date filter criteria. Whatever filter you have applied here at data source filter, it will pull everything. In the first case, it won't pull anything if you pass blank value or if you're not entering any value. In second case, if you're not passing any value, if you are passing a blank value, it will be, pull the data based on the data source filter. Ganesh, show the first option prompt the user for the value. If I'm not putting anything, it's automatically taking the higher date value and give the result no. No, automatically, it will take blank value if you're not entering anything. For example, let's say I'm using this prompt. The user for the value now. When we define from then, we need to define prompts here as well. I'll let you know what these prompts are. What are the tabs are. Don't worry about that thing, but let us just explain those two options. Oh, come on. See, when I check this one, then this higher date prompt is automatically populated. Now, if I run this report, click the Senate is really very, very slow, super slow, super slow. We are super slow. We keep waiting. Anyway, see, here I'm running. I click on run, see, now you are getting one prompt. Earlier, we were getting 3 prompts. Now, here you are getting one prompt and I'm not passing anything here. This is just a blank value. I'm not passing anything here. When I click on it, it's showing higher date. It's compared higher date with a blank value, blank date. The blank date is something 0, 0, something 19, 19 something. That's why you know it. You know it actually extracted. Let me add one more filter pair gender. That means it's extracting the value right with the hire date without putting anything. No, I mean hire date is actually comparing with the product value here, default value. That's why you know it is giving. Let me you use another gender. Gender is a single instance field. If you click on this related business object, you will see this is a single instance field for single instance field in the operator. When you will click on all, you will see different options here. If you see you are having options like is empty, is not empty. They are not in the selection it in the selection list country. Less than there are many options here. Mostly we are going to use in the selection list and not in the selection list. Here in the list I'm using in the selection list, and again here I'm just giving the prompt. Prompt 1. This will be drop default from populate prompts. It will auto populate here gender. Click these warnings. You know these are. You know this yellow signals are. You know warnings that you can read. If you want to fix, you can fix. Otherwise, you can ignore as well. You know what that is telling is you can't increase the XML alias name. You know you should not increase the XML alias name. Both are 16 characters. All those instructions that is giving you. It's not yielding out. Basically, it will say, like, your performance will be impacted if you're using any XML alias which is greater than 16 characters. Now here, let me run the support again gender. I'm not giving anything in the gender. Then let's see what it is giving me. You are getting 0 item right because there are no worker in the system whose gender is not updated. Now let me run this report again by putting some values. Let's say male, female, 2 values. Click now, you will be able to see the value 9 to 64 items. There are 9, 10, 64 workers was updated. Gender. As you know, I have not added any gender field here, but anyways, now you understood, like how that actually compares the data and how that is generating as a blank value, right? Now, I'll show you another thing here. Let me go and edit. Anyone is having hard shock today, or can you just exchange for 5 more minutes? Sure, I'll just continue. I'll just, explain this thing, this option, and then we'll continue tomorrow. That's fine. Slowly, we will, win the race. Don't worry that the NN is super slow anyways. Here, let's use another from the user for the value. Then I'm just removing this prompt once and again. I'll just, click on this one. It will populate and it will auto uncheck. I'll let you know the purpose of that as well. Don't worry, it will be auto unchecked once we know this option. Populate the prompts. Now click let. Let me just review once again here. If you see the prompt, the user. I'm using this prompt. Click. Earlier I was not passing anything the gender. It was giving me blank or put. None of the employee was getting picked up. Right now again, I'll pass the blank value and see what is happening here. Tender is blank. I'm not passing anything. Click and see. You are able to see everything. 2823 data. What it did is actually, it bypassed that filter criteria. It's not actually comparing with anyone. It is actually bypassed that filter criteria and pulled everything. Whatever has been defined in data source filter. You understood the difference between both. The prompt. comparison types. Now I understand that means it's ignoring the condition filter if you're not passing here. This one is ignoring the filter criteria if you are not passing one. The earlier one was actually comparing with the blank value or garbage value, and in the system, if none of the employees having that blank value or garbage value definitely is not going to return anything. That was the difference. This filter, I think we have covered. Let's keep our tilt here. Only, I would say, see, this tenant is this is killing actually. Our time. Maybe I'll increase the session, by 1.5 hours, not from next day, from next week. But what I'll do is most of the things, I'll just explain at a very high level and I'll show you some of the complex in. I'll show you, you just do, some of the handshot and I'll give you the activity. Whatever you need to do, you just complete the activity. Come up with the questions if you have any, if there is any tricky or complicated thing, I'll explain. And basically, definitely a little bit. Really, I'll explain everything, but when there is something activity and all you can do by yourself, and you just let me know if you need, more understanding on any topics, any options. And we will discuss that here. Filter is something we discussed. Air filter. I think you understood how can we apply filter. There is one more thing, the last thing which I want to explain here is here in the very first, raw, you can see and or I think you should know what is and or means here. If you will click, you will see and or, and means both of this filter should be satisfied, or means if I'm giving or here, then if any one of the filters satisfy, it will generate the data mostly you will use, and I mean you will use both and or based on the requirement. Basically, whenever you get any requirement, the field one is fine. If they are asking some specific things, for example, they want data for workers who have been hired in 2024, or if they are asking like I want to see all the data who is working in Australia and Canada, then based on the requirement you need to decide whether you should be using and or operator safe. It's a simple and or. Whatever we understand that there is nothing much here. This is, how exactly we are going to filter on primary business object. Now let's say if you need to apply filter on sub, related business object. For applying filter on related business object, you are having another tab, that is soft filter tab in this sub. Soft filter tab. You can add another, soft filter there again. You need to define business object and face. Whatever you did in the sub level sorting rate, similar kind of thing, you need to do here in the sub filter. You just mentioned the related business object name, and then in that religion, related business object. Whatever fields you want to apply filter. You can just add here by clicking add, and you can apply, filter on multiple related business object. You can add one more here, and then you will be able to add a minor filter on another, related business object. Anyways, this is something we are going to apply. Tomorrow we will discuss, on this sub filter, and then from short course here and advanced. This is something we will, discuss tomorrow, and then, custom report will be completed. 2 activities here. I'm not giving any specific activity for advanced report, but I would say you try to think of something and you create, or your own report. You can try all these options as well. Even if I have not explained, you can try, we will discuss. Anyways, I'm going to explain, and if you will be having any queries, we will discuss it. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.